What if a resume wasn't just a boring list of jobs, but a real story, a blueprint, even? If you look closely, the dates and the job titles, they all start to connect, and they tell a story about growth, about strategy, and about becoming an expert. So today, we're going to deconstruct one professional's journey, piece by piece, to see exactly how a powerful career gets built.
Okay, so let's actually start at the end. This is that powerful professional summary. It's concise, it's confident, it's the polished final product. But here's the thing. This kind of authority, it doesn't just happen by accident. No way. It's built step by step over a long and very deliberate journey.
So that's the real question, isn't it? How do you build a profile that sounds this impressive? Well, to find out, we've got to go past the what and really dig into the how. We're going to treat this resume like a case study and uncover the real story behind the qualifications to see the exact steps that led to this point. Every expert career starts with a solid base. I mean, think about it. Before you get to the cool, specialized stuff, before the high-stakes roles, you have to have this deep foundation of core skills. This is where our story really begins. Now, to really get why her expertise is so valuable, you have to understand the problem she solves. So, picture this. All around the world, there are these incredibly talented doctors and nurses, but they face this huge hurdle. They have to pass these insanely difficult English exams. And we're not just talking about being fluent. These tests are all about complex, specialized medical language, all under intense pressure. Passing them can literally make or break a career, which, as you can imagine, creates a huge demand for a very specific kind of expert. And the journey starts right here. In 2010, she earns her Bachelor of Education in English, with distinction, mind you. The very next year, she starts an 11-year tenure as an English teacher. 11 years. I mean, just let that sink in. That's over a decade spent in the trenches mastering the fundamentals of teaching, of planning, and of managing a classroom. This isn't just a job. It's the absolute bedrock that her entire specialty is going to be built on. So, after more than a decade of laying all that groundwork, the story takes a sharp turn. This is the pivot. It's that critical moment where a professional with a really solid foundation makes a strategic choice to shift from being a generalist to becoming a highly sought-after specialist.
So what is this niche she's targeting? Well, it's the OET and the IELTS. The OET, or Occupational English Test, is super specific to healthcare. It tests a doctor's ability to communicate in a real clinical setting. Then you have IELTS, which is a bit more general, but just as tough, and it's a gateway for immigration and university. Look, mastering one of these is hard enough. Specializing in both is what makes you a true expert. These aren't your standard language classes. They are career-defining hurdles. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the timeline. See how compressed these dates are? They're all clustered around late 2021 and 2022. This wasn't a slow, gradual drift. This was a deliberate, rapid-fire sequence of moves. It was a blitz. She became an official examiner, earned a top-tier certification, got hands-on experience, and then secured the official OET knowledge badge. Boom, boom, boom. This is strategy in action, plain and simple.
So the big question is, did this pivot actually pay off? With the foundation laid and all the new credentials in hand, the next phase of the story is all about achieving mastery and, most importantly, delivering real results.
And here's the proof. 100 plus. That's the number of healthcare professionals she has personally coached to success. And that's not just a claim on a resume, it's a quantifiable impact. That number represents more than 100 careers unlocked, all thanks to her specialized training.
And her impact quickly went way beyond just coaching. I mean, look at the scope here. She's not just teaching students. She's building the whole system. She's developing the curriculum they use. And she's even training the new examiners, the very people who conduct the tests. And coordinating all of that across continents, from India to Australia, that shows she's moved from just being a great practitioner to a real leader in her field. So let's bring it all together now. We've seen the foundation, we've seen the pivot, and we've seen the mastery. And now we can see the complete picture. Which brings us full circle right back to that powerful summary we saw at the very beginning. When you lay the credentials out like this,
The story becomes crystal clear. It just jumps off the page. Just look at the dates. First, that foundational degree way back in 2010. Then, a 12-year gap. And then, bam! A rapid burst of hyper-specific, high-level qualifications all in 2022. That's not a coincidence. That is a strategy.
And this chart just illustrates the structure of her career perfectly. You see that massive slice? That represents 11 years of foundational teaching experience. That deep knowledge base is what makes that smaller, more recent slice of specialized training so incredibly powerful and effective. Her expertise isn't just in the new skills. It's in how those skills are amplified by a decade of solid experience.
So ultimately, a great resume does way more than just list your jobs. It tells the story of why you're an expert. And seeing this whole journey deconstructed like this, it leaves us with one final question for you. If someone were to deconstruct your professional story, what narrative would they find? How clearly does it communicate your own journey from foundation to expertise?